course, interim city manager Jim is on his way.
And I left some printed packets of the agenda and then packets of the RFP and copies of the 2025 agreements. So there's 3 sets right there.
Thank you, Jackie. Oh my God. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Squeeze by in here, is that all right?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah,
Then I can squeeze past you.
okay,
Let you out.
thank you.
I now have the recording started. The live stream has been on. Hi, Sierra.
Hi.
Welcome everyone to today's LTAC meeting, 3:05 p.m. It's August 20th, 2025. For the record, Tom Denley is present, Sierra present, and interim city manager Jim is also present. And we have Jackie on Zoom, and she is present on Zoom. Let's start with our active agenda overview of lodging tax and role of lodging tax advisory committee. So, did you remember last year we talked about this a little bit? Were you present at the beginning? You were, right? Just wanted an overview. I don't think there's going to be any changes this year, unless you guys see anything that you would like to add or change or discuss. And just for the record, the role of the LTAC committee is to meet annually, and we decided to meet a little bit more this year, and we think we might have skipped a few, but that's okay. We'll get back on a roll. Lodging taxes, it's collected annually through lodging, hotels, motels here in Sunnyside. They collect the tax, and then the city gets a portion of it every year, and the city must use that for events, right, to get more tourism into Sunnyside. The popular ones that we have, in Sunnyside is the Cinco de Mayo, Sword for the Cause. We have Elfest this year that they applied and they got funded. Northwest Nitro Nationals, Sunshine Days is coming up. Lighted Farm Implemented Parade, and the market. That one's a little bit different this year, but we could discuss a little bit later. Also, Miss Sunnyside was funded for LTAC money. So in the past, there's been other organizations, other events that have applied. The basketball tournaments being one of them. Hopefully this year they could submit the application, and we would love to see them here present. It's always good to see sporting events. It really brings in a lot of people from outside. I attend sporting events with my kids, and hotels are busy. They get packed. So tax advisory committee, right? Right now we have Mr. Tom Denley. He represents the tax paying portion of it, collecting portion of it, and we have Sierra. She represents the users, utilizing. We do have 2 positions open, one for the collecting side and another for the utilizing. So if there's anybody out there that wish to be in the committee and be part of the LTAC, feel free to reach out to our city clerk Jackie, and she'll be more than happy to get you started or punch it to the right direction.
Has there been any applicants for like utilizers, or I don't think you've talked about the collectors?
No, I know the collectors. It's a little bit more tricky because you have to be a collector. So with the utilizers, there is the possibility for anybody that's part of an organization. Councillor Hancock was in here representing the Lions Club. So you don't necessarily have to apply for LTAC funds. You have to be in an organization that's in position and could apply for LTAC funds. But it's a little bit harder for the collecting side, just because they have to be, part of a hotel, RV. I welcome anybody that wishes to apply that's either or on both sides, so we could.
Would it be, sorry, would it be reasonable to reach out to the groups that have applied in the past to encourage?
We could definitely do that.
I guess I don't know how necessary it is to have, because right now we're balanced.
Well, as long as we have a forum, we're good. But of course, say we have a meeting and one of us can't make it, but if we have an additional person, then we could continue with the meeting and have forum and continue with the outside meeting. So it just makes it a little bit easier for outside to continue.
In response to your question about has anybody applied, there was an individual who represented the Sunnyside RV Park, was a collector. And for some reason, that person is not that big a dealer.
So yes, and I encourage her. I mean, she resigned last year from the position, and we told her, if she wishes to be part of it again, she, like everything else, she needs to go through the process. And I'm okay. I'm okay with Peggy, with even Mr. Leader now that not in council.
He's off the council now.
Yeah, he's
So he could be.
Yeah,
He's been on us
before. So if either one are out there and wishes to apply, let's get your application in and get you in. Okay, going forward, that's the agenda. Item B, review of financial record.
Can I just
Yeah.
add a clarification? Our job as a committee is to review these applications and to make a recommendation to city council.
Correct.
All we can do is recommend.
Correct.
And if the city council accepts the recommendation, it moves forward. If they don't, they send them back to us for reconsideration.
Thank you for that.
That's we serve an important function.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tom. Anything else before we move on? Okay, item B, review of financial records. So I had a question, and there was for 2020. Yeah, you could get in here. So my question was, if you guys remember, we had given event organizers 60 days after the event to submit for reimbursements. And if you guys see the sheet that was provided, it looks like Rotary hasn't submitted it.
We have, and I followed up with Jackie, because we submitted within the 60 days, but we have not received reimbursement yet. So I think there's some processing happening on the city's end. Is she on here or is she
Yeah,
just?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was
Sorry,
looking
I
at my
wasn't sure if you
email. No, you're
were.
fine. I'm looking in my emails to see if I can find it.
And Candy Fernandez sent it, and then just this week I resent it, asking if you needed anything additional.
Let's see. So Candy.
I'm on that. Nice to meet you. Nice.
Our new
Thank
finance
you.
supervisor.
Oh, yes. Candy
Yes.
submitted it on July 3rd. So yes, I will submit that to finance.
For the record, Monica's here from the finance department. So one of the questions that I had was we were provided this sheet, and it shows that Rotary hadn't submitted for reimbursements.
Okay.
They were supposed to within 60 days. Sarah represents also Rotary. It has been submitted. They haven't received any reimbursements.
Okay.
Just look into that and
Absolutely,
go back to it.
absolutely.
Um,
Thank you.
So which there's 3 events coming up, right? Sunshine Days and the Implemented Parade and the market. My question is how is, well, I'm gonna rewind since I have you here for finance. How is our budget looking like for 2026? Rough estimate.
I'm gonna be honest with you, none of the reconciliations were done. So I'm still undoing and redoing all reconciliations from 2024 forward.
It's important.
Is your question, how do we look as far as collections of lodging tax versus obligations?
Yeah,
I could comment on that if you don't mind.
yeah, go ahead.
So I was just looking at this 2025 statement, and it looks like you have the first 4 months of lodging tax dollars. You've got January, February, March, and April. And where is it? Yeah, there. There's January, there's
Right.
February, there's March, and there's April. So I'm not seeing May or June. And is that, you should have received May and probably June.
So as of today, I just got access to SAW. And I have not had any access to any of the accounts. And then when I finally got access as of today, I realized that none of it was allocated correctly as of 2024 to 25.
Oh, boy.
For our taxes, our LIG, like, nothing was allocated correctly. So I want to confirm before I can guarantee that these numbers are correct. I'm just saying, like,
Sure.
even the investment funds, none of them were allocated correctly. And they were not input correctly since 2024,
The whole year.
the entire year.
We have about 100,000 allocated for 24 or 25, right? That's these right here.
Yeah,
And you collected 31,000. I think you're gonna be fine.
You should be, I'm gonna
There's a
say
huge
that,
starting
yeah,
balance.
well,
well, if also if you look at this 31,000, they're repeated.
right, and that's why I'm saying is I have to look at the
You have to go
application.
back and look at it.
Because how they're allocating things, I'm not really sure the rhyme or reason of how they were inputting things.
So 2% from the state sales tax, 2% hotel.
Right,
So that's your, I think that's why they're duplicated. It comes at you in 2 pieces.
Well, it's the same transaction number.
Yeah, because.
yeah, they just duplicate, what they do is when they post it, it's posted on the same journal entry, so it's gonna have the same transaction number, cause it's line item down.
Okay.
And so you'll see when it has something like that, it just means that when the journal entry went in, it just has 2 line items on that same journal entry to allocate it to where it needs to go to. And after I got access today to some of the journals, I realized that 24 was not done correctly. So I have undone all of 24 for all of our investment funds. Because they stopped inputting them last year in May.
Me. Wow.
And I don't know what happened. And so I'm trying to go in and fix some of this stuff because literally I got access today to these things. And yeah, I was kind of surprised. That's what I'm doing in the office right now. I was like, why is it allocated like this? I'm not sure. I'm looking for notes as to why they're allocating certain things certain ways. As far as this goes, I haven't even touched the income or anything on these because I'm still trying to figure out why they put the other lots of stuff the way they did.
Well, Monica's been with us about a month.
Almost a month, yeah.
So,
Lucky girl.
I know.
My question now is, will you be able to have the budget kind of sorted out for our next meeting, which
Yeah.
is looks like Jackie's schedule will be October 27th.
Yes.
No,
My goal is before the end of the month to have it all straightened out.
okay.
end of August or September.
August. I will not go into another month without having most of this done.
Wow, thank you so much.
I was like, whoa, everybody, please don't put anything in anymore. I'll be looking at this.
So I shouldn't ask you all those questions that
I just wanna make sure that where they have this and where it's coming from, cause I noticed that, as you can see, a lot of the income stopped. And so I'm trying to like find where they were putting it and if they just stopped inputting it altogether. Kind of like last year, I found some things had started and then never continued, and I'm not sure why. It's there, we have the funds, they just never got put in. So that's another thing, I wanna make sure you guys are getting allocated what you're supposed to be getting allocated, and it's not getting coded any further.
Yeah, so you're tracking.
Yeah.
So my questions, and I can give you the.
Mhm.
But this is your 2024 income statement, the 2025 income statement.
Mhm.
This says the ending balance in 2024 is at 287,252.10. The beginning balance of 2025 is 2,800 bucks short.
Mhm.
So
Those numbers were journal entry put in. They were not actuals.
so
Yes, unfortunately, when all of the beginning balances were put in, they were put in as journal entries, none of them were put in as actuals. So I don't know who was here, but what I'm looking at is it looks like the person that was closing it didn't know how to reconcile the accounts to close properly.
Mhm.
And so it didn't carry over. And because it didn't carry over any of our numbers, like a guessing journal entry was put in. And that's how a new beginning balance was put in.
Wow,
And that's what I'm seeing is they're not.
and that's just for this account, to be clear.
It's for everyone, they're
Everyone.
finding. I haven't found one right yet. You can imagine, it's a lot of undoing and doing, so.
much grace to you. So. Well,
And Tom, just to go back on your statement, so that for 2024, we awarded 167,500, which 100,000 was for the city to use for marketing. For the
Yeah.
total, yeah.
so he's saying we can't trust these numbers. This is saying,
I'm gonna tell you that the numbers are probably close and that, as you're seeing, they're not too far off. But the reconciliation needs to be done for them to be correct. I'm not saying that the funding's not there, I'm saying that the numbers don't rely on the numbers that are there. Because as you can see from the ending balance to beginning balance, I haven't found any that are correct yet.
but according to this, roughly speaking, 147,000 was budgeted to be spent in 2024. Is that if I'm reading this correctly? Your budgeted amount, and this is saying that your revenues are pretty darn close, which
Right.
is nice.
Yeah.
But that's the actual amount that was spent, so there's another $27,000 in 2024 that was budgeted, but has not been spent.
Correct, so that should have rolled over.
And given the 60-day, does that shut them out? If they didn't submit, or the people who had that $27,000 coming to them, does that keep them from submitting now, or are we gonna be?
If I remember correctly, we discussed it earlier in the year, since we were changing it and nobody was enforcing that rule and everybody was just, okay, be submitted whenever you feel like it. We were gonna be a little bit more stricter, and I believe, Sarah, your question was on simple and.
Yeah, and we did submit it within
Yeah.
the 60 days, and so, I'm still supportive of, if you don't submit it in the timeline requested, like, that's what the obligations are, and then those funds should be able to be utilized. Roll over, or, however this committee determines they're utilized in the future, but.
Well, yeah, because it ties up cash.
Yeah.
Then another party could have
But
used.
you see,
So roughly, what would you say we have to work with, or can we say, I guess, just use the same amount as we did for?
I would say that if you have a budget line item. I would say your budget line item for 25, you should be in. So. Is this,
This is the 2025 income statement that was supplied in the packet. This only goes through, well, because that's just was year in 2024.
right? Oh, it's because it didn't roll over, so that's why there's no actions. I get it.
But the actuals are here. on the back of this,
Right, it just didn't,
here's your revenues. And then these are the expenses that have been put in. I was gonna ask what this is, but I don't recognize that vendor at all.
Which one was it?
Yeah,
those are advertising.
Wesco,
Yeah.
Wesco, that's advertising.
That's part of the 100,000 that we gave the city manager to use. Who is it?
who is it?
I have no idea. They're a consultant that, they come out, we tell them there's an event, Sunshine Days, right? And they do posters and they take pictures and drone videos and they post it on the website to market Sunnyside. And this is what goes on at the events, right? But that, from what I've seen, little I've seen of them, that's what they do. The day we spent 19,000 on those folks.
That's on this list here, this
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
tourism service, smart. I think that's.
Jackie, do you have a copy of the contract with them?
I do. Do you want to see it on the screen or would you like it emailed?
We need to be fine with me.
Put it on the
Put
screen.
it on the screen.
Okay, one moment.
While she's pulling that up, I know that. The city manager who entered this contract may or may not be the city manager much longer. What happens? The city's obviously got to honor that because when he signed it, he was the city manager and.
Yeah, so what the terms are.
And this contract, I believe, goes for a year.
Yeah,
So I think it actually rolled over into 2026. If I just looked at it earlier this week with Jackie. Just going off the top of my head, I may be wrong on that,
but my question is, who's giving directions to these people?
right?
So we meet weekly on things that they're doing, videos that they're producing.
And they
And
help with like the Sunshine Day stuff that we're receiving, they're helping with, right?
yes, yeah.
So,
And the city manager had left a we all developed a plan of what we wanted, and so that's what we're following right now.
Jackie, can you scroll up to the top a little bit? I see some dates that.
yeah, is there like a terms?
And their contract is only 38,000. So it's not the full 100,000.
And it's through December 2025.
Pretty short videos, okay?
And there's no like automatic renewal
So
or
There's,
anything else?
there's 4 events there. Which one doesn't get a video?
They should because they're all in different months.
But it says there's 3. There's three short videos, Cinco de Mayo, by the Department of Trade, Summer Rail Fest, Sunshine Day Festival, that's 4 events, 4 separate events.
3
I'm just
videos
scared.
per month.
Per month, so.
Per month, so
they're
continuing,
producing-
yeah, they're continuing to produce content.
Okay, thank you.
Jackie, do you know of any other contracts that are active that are taking from this money? The 100,000?
I'm not aware of any other contracts. I do know that they purchased some equipment like some editing software and like a tripod. But other than that, I think this is the only contract that I've seen that I'm aware of.
So there's another,
Yeah, so
there's
there's more.
branding,
Well, if you look number 2, photography and content library, that's an additional value.
that's
That's-
$8,500
Yeah,
bucks.
and then branding is a, so this contract is more than the,
Oh, boy,
First
keep going.
is there like a total at the end?
It should be around a little less than $50,000. And so the way we asked that they break it down by cost, that way in case we didn't get 4 videos a month or 3 videos a month, that we wouldn't have to pay the full price. I haven't seen the invoices until just I think 2 days ago, so I haven't reviewed if they actually do break down the cost or not. But it's broken down by category.
So there might be some of this 100,000 that just rolls over for next year.
Yes, that is correct. Whatever unspent money just stays in the tourism fund.
All right. So I guess
If you
it's,
add it all up, it's way more than,
Package.
way more than 50, that's for
It's-
sure.
48,500 is what the package costs right here. Is what it shows.
But if you go back and you add up all of those line items, it comes up to much more than that.
I think it's like estimates 7,500 to 9,200.
Really?
So 38,
Back down to the bottom.
yeah, and then add, are they saying this is the
So
value?
it would be like, yeah, this is what we see, if you broke it out individually, this would be the value, but
Mm.
we're providing it all
So
together.
There's the, what's that, nine?
Plus piece,
But
is what
then-
it is.
Targeted build an addition, budgets approved as. And it could also be like a minimum spend, so like,
So,
depends on what your invoices are like.
yeah, who's watching the deliverables on this?
Well, at least from our utilization factor, you know, we utilize for Cinco de Mayo, they help produce all the materials you would have seen out on the interwebs of the promotional materials for Cinco de Mayo and the poster, and then now we're seeing that for Sunshine Days, they're putting together the information for well, Rotary's putting together the event and the information, but then they're putting it in pretty formats to share with the public.
Jackie, can you pull up one of their quick videos, please?
Yes, one moment. And we do meet, like I said, weekly, and all of our conversations and notes and to-do lists are on a website called Basecamp. And so we can track all of, like you said, the deliverables there. So I can try to download everything, but most of their activity you'll find on Facebook that says Visit Sunnyside. So let me show you, let me share my screen. One moment.
And also, we did something similar with Yakima Valley Tourism when we were doing our events. They would help us put together the materials, so from our regard as a utilizer, we haven't noticed much of a difference, but I understand there was some value in switching from Yakima Valley Tourism to this alternative methods, so that way we had more, the city had more control over it, and so that's where, as end users, we haven't noticed too much of it switch.
That was my next question, in your opinion,
It's been fine,
it's been fine
been working.
this way?
They've been pretty responsive to like changes we've had or edits to the materials and
They
working.
want to meet their customer. Events like this, the Sunnyside like to have their consumer right in front of them. What are their customers looking for? What's the best presentation? What is their mission for their business? It helps give them that platform and that practice, so that way they can meet their consumer where they are, wherever that might be. And starting here at home is the best place to start. It's going to be July through October, 2nd and 4th Sundays, and we're going to have produce. We have drink vendors, flower vendors, a lot of education, resources, and just something for everybody, really.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackie. So.
I'm just glad to hear, I'm not on Facebook, so I'm.
So then, should we just assume 167,000 will be safe starting point?
That's for 2026.
Yeah,
So you're talking revenues,
well, for a budget,
but you're talking revenues, not actual obligations. What we would take in as form of lodging tax.
correct, yeah.
I would stay with this.
Yeah,
I would stay with the 150.
150?
Yeah, I wouldn't go above the
well,
150.
if you were, if that's correct right there.
Right.
I can tell you that I'm 2/3 of that. And I can tell you, we're not there,
Okay.
so.
Have you seen like go down in
Yeah.
hotel stays?
Yeah. There is a drop in average daily rate nationwide.
I know, I can
Occupancy's more or less flat, but people are paying less. And why? Heck, if I know, but that's what's going on. I think people have decided that if I can't get what I want going to Sunnyside, I'll get it going to Boardman, or I mean, they have choices.
I know, I was just on the revenue, Department of Revenue, and the sales tax for the first quarter were down for Sunnyside to 3 or 4%. Yeah. If it's a trend, then
And we're fighting it. I don't know if we're gonna be successful, but we're fighting it. We're gaining on last year. We are not there.
there you go.
So
So we want to stay then within the 150,000 for
I think that'd be smart.
the events for.
And you should have a beginning balance once she verifies it,
Right,
but. So
And we could always adjust once she, on the next meeting, once she has all the
Yeah.
numbers and whatnot, at least it gives us a starting point.
Yeah.
To where we wanna be at. Okay, any other financial questions or reviews?
Well, I have some specifics, but they'll probably come up. Pretty apt about revenue, you said, you haven't had a chance to check, you just got access to it, but now, and now know what yes Wasco is. This was had to see for it. And then. Did make sure the numbers tied out. Which encouraging. But there are several different. There's professional services. There's legal services, miscellaneous. And they did tie out. But I'd like to know what goes into miscellaneous, but you know. What we call miscellaneous?
Some of the things paid out of miscellaneous are like the licensing, the music licensing that is required for the downtown area for most of our events where they're playing music.
So you're saying it's something that's not applicable to one specific event? Is it general license or is it specific to an event?
It's just in general, all of any, in the past, we used to have a radio or speakers that were playing downtown. So that covered that and all of the events.
Ask after it.
It's ASCAP and BMI, I think.
Then you got a fireworks permit. That for the 4th of July.
Those are from 2024, and I did discuss that with Kelly, and because that those charges were in 2024 and they can't be changed, but those should not have been charged to that account. And Kelly was not in finance at that time.
Well, like I say, much grace to you guys and getting in and out. But I'm, as long as the funds haven't been absconded with, I know we have money.
yeah,
Okay, well, I appreciate you joining us. Actually, you got my copy. I was looking for my.
No.
I had some notes, like, where did I go?
I think I did.
This, you can take it off.
I like your notes though. thank you.
Yeah. I was going crazy.
And just a heads up that some of this, the fund balances might look the same, but we might have to reallocate some of the line items for the final for 24 because it was never finalized. And so what'll happen is you might actually get a new copy that'll have different line items.
Oh, okay. All right, well, sounds like we got it under control. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Thanks a lot.
anything else? I'm free to go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Stop by my office anytime with questions.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. If there's no other financial questions, we'll move on to review of 2024 awards. Jackie, I asked for the 2025, I forgot to ask for the 2024. Can you put it up on the screen?
Yeah, I can pull it up. One moment.
Should ask. Monica, does she create a separate sub-account for each obligation in this restricted fund? I don't know. I can go ask her. Well,
I don't believe that they do. They just pay for everything out of the professional services line. I don't think I was with you guys in 2024. I think that was I? I don't remember because I don't see a spreadsheet like that.
Well, we could skip the 2024 and just review the 2025.
Let me see if I can pull it up in a resolution really quick because I think, oh, here. I don't know how accurate this is, but let me pull this up.
the reason I ask is that makes it easy for us to track them
Mhm.
through the year. Union Gap they create a separate sub account, they don't always get the money in there, but at least I can look at it and say, hey, what's going on here?
Do you see the spreadsheet?
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like it,
It just doesn't have what was reimbursed.
yeah, it was,
But
because I thought the basketball stuff was funded 2024. It isn't sure on there.
Like $179,000 there.
Yeah, I just created that spreadsheet that you have in the printout today just to get it together.
Well, we could skip 2024 and we could talk on 2024 awards. Let's start with Cinco de Mayo. It went great. I was in here for the whole weekend. I had dance with my daughter, but I had a few questions as to, did you see any sort of difference in attendance? I guess, did attendance increase this year versus last?
yeah, one of the things we struggle with, especially with this LTAC reporting too, but is measuring how many people are in attendance because of the open format, unlike AleFest where they have one entry point and tickets and people coming in. We don't have a way to necessarily measure besides just the feeling of how so it felt like a good turnout, but it's difficult to actually measure with data.
Gotcha.
And so we estimate on our LTAC reimbursement report based on who we know has stayed in hotels, like the bands that are coming in and things along those sorts, but and then the information we can get from the hotels as well, but the actual amount of people that were downtown. It's really, we talked a lot about some cool ideas on how we could measure it, but I think it just it's kind of in the future would be nice to do.
Yeah, I think.
And then each year comes by and
Well, I have an idea, and this is not all that hard to do, that the hotels are willing to cooperate, I know we would do it. That is the dates of Cinco de Mayo. Give us the revenue associated with those dates. And we can figure out what the lodging tax associated with the revenue on those dates is.
oh, kind of like reversing.
Yeah, just
like,
back into it.
yeah.
Like, we can assume everybody is here for Cinco de Mayo, we know that's not true, but that would be a maximum.
Mhm.
I would tell you how, if everybody's, if it was very, very effective and every room in the city was filled by Cinco de Mayo, that would tell you the maximum that they generated for lodging tax. You just have to get the hotels to be willing to give you, what is it, 3 days,
Mhm.
or is it 4 days?
It's 3 days.
2 days.
So I'd ask for 5, I'd ask for 1 on each end, because you got vendors that come in early and make it late. But if they were willing to do that, just give us those 5 and give it to us day by day.
Mhm.
And we can back into the numbers from there. That would be, I think that would be very helpful, would be helpful for the event organizers too.
Yeah.
Because you might have thousands of people here, but
Did they stay consecutively or overnight at all? Or?
And I have a question, I guess, for you on the hotel, and do you guys keep track of the empty rooms?
yeah, that's easy to do.
Yeah,
I get a report every day, it shows me what the occupancy is.
okay.
So vacancy is just total minus the occupancy.
I'm just curious what it is, like a week prior and then a weekend of. Fluctuate.
Booking pace, I'd like to see it sold out long in advance. That tells you that people value that weekend and make plans to come. Unfortunately. And that kind of information I can give too. I don't know if everybody will give it, but I can just give it. That's good. I have nothing to lose. Sorry.
And, okay, so then the next one was Sort for the Cause, they got awarded 4,000, they got reimbursed 4,000. LFest, they got awarded 10,000 and reimbursed 10,000. So those were, from what I hear, I was at the LFest, it was
raining, right?
it was rainy, yeah, so I was hoping for more people, but hopefully they had a great success, anyways, with the weather being so cloudy, rainy. Sort for the Cause, I also heard it was a great success. They always raise a lot of money for good charities.
So that information was included in an email that Jackie sent out. Where that JLARC form and then their actual P&L from the event was included along with their reimbursement request. And if you are willing, I'd like to make some comments on that.
Yeah,
So the Sort for the Cause, they received $4,000. And the total cost. The total. Their total revenue. According to this, was $108,000. And their total expenses were $109,000. And lodging tax provided them with $4,000. But just looking through the P&L, they gave $79,500 away in charity donations. That's why they're organized. That's what they want to do. But when I looked at the top sheet, paid lodging nights, they said their methodology was direct count. So they counted the number of paid lodging nights they had. It was only 25. And I just put $125 to the lodging nights for that was my average rate for 2024. It comes up to $3,125. If you multiply that times 0.04, which is how you come up with the lodging tax, that generated $125 in lodging tax. So we spent $4,000, paid $125. It's not, in my mind, a really good return on investment. I know there are other reasons to do things, but I want us to be cognizant of the fact that as stewards of these funds, the idea is to take the funds and generate more funds with them.
Right.
Yeah. And if we do this, we go broke. So, and they're okay without the 4,000. The 79,500 would be 75,500 if they didn't have that 4,000. So
that's a good chunk of change.
yeah, it's still very nice, and I'm not sure the community received it, but God bless them, they did a really good job. So that was Sort for the Cause. The Ale Fest, they didn't provide the actually they did provide the P&L. They lost money, but they only had 12 paid stays. And if you multiply that times 125, it's only $1,500. It's only $60 in lodging tax coming out of that. We gave them 10 grand. Now, I understand we're trying to build an event. I understand the weather didn't cooperate. There's a lot of factors involved, but
Not to interrupt, but I think this form is difficult to fill out, just in the regards that I think it might be underreported as well, like it is challenging to figure out how many people stayed where unless you are specifically gathering that information from your event participants. And so you're trying to make assumptions, and at least when I fill out that form, I don't want to over report, so I will always underestimate, because if I overestimate, then I could be wrong. So
well,
that's, I guess, my only caveat is, I think, and not saying that I know that these people underreported or anything, but I think it's an estimate to, or I guess I don't know their selection of the methodology, sorry.
they said.
So this is what they know for sure.
Right.
But there could have been more people saying that they just didn't know for sure.
And I think actually,
That's what I'm trying to explain.
if you look at their P&L, it showed $1,700 was spent on lodging for volunteers. So that would be at $150. That would be 12
Maybe
nights.
that's where they knew that they were staying there. Kind of like when we do Cinco, we know the bands are staying there, so we can guarantee that they had lodging nights.
But what you can do is you can, again, assume that your event was so good that both every room in the city. What's the revenue associated with that? Multiply it times 0.04 and see what the actual lodging tax is. And it's one of the factors that I have always used to evaluate these, and that's why people don't like me. Because, well, I mean, but we have to remember that. I'm not saying it's the only reason that you, but it is an accountability reason. So, these are the kind of things that I would go back to these guys and I'd say, this is the kind of event that, if it's done properly, can be a 2-day event or a 1-day event. And what do you need to grow it? Do you need a covered venue so that if it's raining outside, it's not a big deal? Because that's the kind of thing that, again, brings people in from out of town, properly positioned I don't know, it was in, you came to the valley, but Prosper used to have a wine and food fair. And that was huge. It was sold out months in advance and high rates and everything. You remember it, yeah. So you can build it to that point. But you have to work it. People who are doing it need to be willing to work with us, and we need to be willing to work with them. There needs to be some strategy to it. That's all.
You said they used to have it, they don't have it anymore?
If I told you the reason for its demise, you would say, how did they let that happen? But I can tell you the reason. It's really kind of sad. This was back in the days before social media was a really big deal. It was a mailing list, and they would send out postcards every year. And that mailing list consisted of many people who came year after year after year, but there were new people who came. And one year they decided that they weren't going to pay to have the mailing list sent by the printing company that normally sent it. They said, give us a list, we'll send it ourselves. So the printing company said, it's not your property. And they went back and forth, they fought over that. No list ever got sent. Down went the event attendance. And as soon as that started to happen, and there was other, Chelan, they saw what was going on down here, and they said, we can do that. And they did exactly the same thing on the same again. So you give, you could be careful. It's pretty competitive out there.
Yeah, but it's good to know, that way, anybody out there.
Well, but it also makes sure if this is a community event that the intellectual property is community's. It doesn't belong to the individual putting on the event or anybody who's involved in somehow promoting it. That was that lesson learned.
Wow. All right,
So
that, good information. Going on to the next one, Northwest Nitros Nationals. I mean, they got awarded 10,000. They got reimbursed for the 10,000. It was a packed event, right? Like every year. Hear of any downfalls or any less attendance at their event, but one of the main concerns is always, they provide the RV parking for attendees out there. But one of the things that I fought for was, it's awesome, it's great that the LTAC, we want to get people in beds, but also it could benefit other stores, other businesses in town, with them coming in to fuel up, them coming in to eat. So if it didn't 100% help the hotels, at least some of that money could go to the businesses here in Sunnyside.
and you can measure that by looking at your sales tax receipts over that period of time. So
That'd be good to
I
see.
think that unrealized stuff that you can't measure is like, if they came here for that event, how does it attract tourism to occur in other weekends? Like, how did those are the connections that are good to make and get exposure to, but you can't measure that right there too.
it's only measured at a macro level.
Yeah.
And you can take credit for stuff that you maybe had nothing to do with, and you can avoid. So this one here, again, his direct account of paid lodging nights was 25, and I know he brings people in, because 2 years ago, I noticed we had 60 or 70 room nights associated with it. And we do our best when people check in, why are you here? Try to track that. So I'm not saying he doesn't bring people in. My question for us is the magnitude of the investment and the return on the investment. Again, there's a big disconnect there, but more than that, if you look at this P&L, he made $55,000. Doesn't need lodging tax monies. Let's save those lodging tax monies for people who do, like Gale Fest, and people who are trying to get something off the ground. His event is established. He's doing it just fine. And I don't think it's the first year. This is the first year he gave us a full financial. But that's it.
Going on to, I'm gonna skip Sunshine Days because it hasn't happened. Miss Sunnyside, they got awarded 6,000. They've been reimbursed so far $1,514. I think it's a little bit more. I that I see more in the agenda, at council meetings, where it's Sunnyside reimbursements.
Is there a specific event date? So when we were talking about the 60-day submission, is there a specific date for an event? Because I understand the Sunnyside, does things all year.
Yeah,
Do you know, Jackie?
that could be a little bit tricky.
Or do they just have all year to submit multiple reimbursements?
Yeah, theirs is all year.
Okay.
Thank you. So the three events that haven't happened is Sunshine Days, we awarded 7,500, and I seen some advertising already,
Yeah,
so
we're
it's
3 weeks
happening.
out,
Yeah.
less than 3 weeks.
Exciting. Any changes to the planning on the?
I know that we're trying to bring some small amusement ride things, bounce houses, things like that. There's gonna be the car show, or not the car show, the parade thing. Parade's gonna still happen. Have been working to do a 3-on-3 tournament because we recognize the sports events, bringing people, as you guys have mentioned. So I hope that it'll be the same that we've experienced in past years, but growing with some growth, incremental growth.
And then from earlier conversations, it sounds like yes, Wasco is supporting
Yes.
you guys.
So question for you, the full agenda of Sunshine Days is something I'm completely familiar with, but I know there's a car show in there.
Yeah.
What, is there any kind of a prize or anything awarded? How does that work?
So I think I don't have the full answer for you, because I am not super into the car show as I should be. But I can follow up with you and get you the information on if there is, because I can't recall if there's just an award like this, they get bragging rights and now they have the best car, or if there is any sort of monetary award it's through Impala's Car Club typically. So they're an organized group that help do the judging.
I have a thought for you.
Mhm.
Car clubs do travel.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
don't know if you've seen the Porsche Club or the Corvette Club, but they're here. And if the Sunshine Days had I'm not saying, for lack of a better word, a car club competition,
Mhm.
bring your best six.
Yeah.
And you guys can go head to head. You gotta have judges gonna go through, there needs to be prize money.
Mhm.
But, if you had Porsche, Corvette, I just think of all the different car clubs, Mustang and so on, 6 of them come. And each one of them brings 6 or 10 vehicles, that's somebody who's gonna stay here. Whether they say it's something from lighter, I don't care, they're gonna be here in the valley. And you give them a reason to come and they talk. So the next year it gets bigger. And I'm just trying to plant seeds
Thank you.
to see how, because Sunshine Days in the past has not generated a lot of out of town stays. But there's potential there.
Mhm.
The other thing you could do, and Mike, old city manager, or whatever, food contests, barbecue or thing. You have a Hispanic food heritage here that you could use. You could do barbecue. You go to your dairy, have an ice cream contest or whatever. But you have a lot of potential ways to generate interest, and food is a big one. People they travel for food.
Yeah, they do.
So
Thank you.
those are, Sunshine Days is sunny,
Mhm.
barbecue, bring them. I know that up on the hill at Mercer Ranch, they had, there's a barbecue off that, or a contest that ultimately ends, I want to say it's Las Vegas Nationals, but they had one of the heats up there. Up there on the hill, we got sold out in Prosser. People way that heck up there. And there's no reason why you can't do the same thing here.
Use what's already out there and just replicate it.
Or find and get in the flow of an organized what do they call it, qualifying competition.
Okay, so the next one, guys, it's the lighted farm implemented parade, and then the market. So this year was split up into two organizations. I know there was a conversation that we had started earlier in the year. Are you guys still doing the?
So with the city manager being on a leave, we have not received any clarity still on what. Cause I was looking for a specific scope of work, so I'm to bring back to our Rotary Club to present, and so we can make a determination on, and so we're getting close to that. So we'll have to, the Rotary Club will have to figure out what we're doing with the information that we have available to us now.
Could you
I
just
think we sent that over and the scope of work, I'm not sure, did he send that over to you?
Yes, but we had a lot of clarifying questions that I responded back with and have not, we were set to meet and but
Okay.
So isn't Carter the one who's doing the farmer side of it, Carter Killian?
yes,
And
yes.
couldn't you just get together with him?
Yeah, so they left the Rotary Club and created this additional group, and so we'll have to figure out some collaboration. We were going to have Mike help us with that. So we'll have to figure out an alternative currently, so
What does LFIP stand for?
lighted farm implement.
Oh, okay.
I guess is those questions something that maybe Jim can help you out in the next week or so, 2 weeks?
I can try.
Yeah,
Tourism's not my bailiwick.
sure.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah, give it a shot.
So maybe a good
He said-
systematic approach and looking at it.
So,
Yeah,
I'll use my engineering experience to find, okay, what are our resources, what's their goal, what's the problem, what are.
yeah, so just a little background, it's not, and I'm still not clear. When people submit RFPs, if we as a lodging tax advisory committee can change the scope of work of what people submitted in the RFPs.
Can recommend a change.
Yes, but so that's what I guess kind of occurred here is, we submitted for the parade and market, and so that's where it's just where we were seeking clarity on. Cause I don't believe that we would tell Sort for the Cause that they could only do half of their event. This one is interesting because it's a city signature event. And so what I was talking with Mike about, the city signature events are determined by who receives the LTAC RFP, but it would make in my, and this is me just thinking about contractual sense, to have agreements with certain clubs or groups or whomever, and it could be a for-profit group or a not-for-profit group, whoever the city deems that they want to have host that event. And then they submit for RFP versus it coming to this group to determine who should be receiving the city signature event. Does that make sense? I'm trying to explain.
Say that one more time.
So there's 3 city signature events and Rotary did Cinco de Mayo, for example. And we received the opportunity to do the signature event for the city through this RFP process. We received lodging tax advisory approved our RFP. That's how we received the funds. So that to us means we get to host the event. But really, it's not a function of if you receive money or not to host the event. It should be an arrangement with the city on who they are contracting with to do the event. Does that make sense?
Because it's a signature.
It's a city signature event.
And
There's
if I
3 of them.
recall, with the Cinco de Mayo, there were actually competing organizations.
Yes.
And lodging tax recommended
Mhm.
Rotary. The city
Yes,
said Rotary gets to do it, the other organization
yeah,
is not at all involved. This one is unique because the farmers wanted to do the parade, but they didn't want to do all the other stuff. And so that, it was a strange split,
yeah,
but that's what happened with that one. So half went to the farmers to do whatever they needed to do, and the other half goes to the market, which is, you have to describe to me all of the things that are involved in that.
well, and that's where we are, where we're trying to understand, because so. That downtown center is where the parade comes through, so for example, who is responsible for ensuring there's restrooms along the parade route? Is it the parade organizers, and the restrooms to me is just the easiest one. or it could be garbages, it could be something different, I don't know, but is that all going to be on the market's responsibility, or is that going to be a collective, or is that gonna be on, so. Yeah, that's
I mean, if
on the
you
new
want
side of
my-
it, but.
You want my opinion, if you wanna split it up like that, I would say the market's in charge of the 2 block area there.
Yeah.
You know, for restrooms and garbage, and then the parade organization.
Yeah, so not to keep berating, but the media, so who is responsible for coordinating and having the media present?
That was just, yes, Wasco.
And so you just kick it back to the yes, Wasco
Or is
person?
that what just, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in the past, the Rotary has organized the media being present and making sure that we had the stage set up and the announcer and the TV station and radio there. But if we're not doing the parade, do you then just have the media there for your market? Which would it make sense? 'Cause-
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is all minutia, so sorry,
No.
trying to help, but
But I was just to minutia on the list and sit down with Carter and say, let's divvy this up. And you're gonna get half, we're gonna get half.
But that's where I disagree with that methodology, just because I don't believe that we're the two right people to make the decisions. I think because the city, it's a signature event for the city, someone from the city has to help us determine. Not because we couldn't, but rather it's a city signature event, and so with this scope of work, that's where I was hoping to have clarity on. What does the city expect of Rotary to do versus what does the city expect the farmers parade to do?
Sounds like you guys need a mediator.
But again, not because I don't believe we couldn't come together and figure that out, but it's then it just made me think about the city.
Within the RFP, right, so you're.
Well, that's our RFP was changed, like, well, what we submitted in our RFP is not what we were awarded.
Okay, but when you submit your RFP, Sunshine Rotary, we're going to, you know, host a Cinco de Mayo, whatever it is, right? Okay, and this is what we're gonna do, right? You're gonna, you know, provide the restrooms, you're gonna
Yeah.
provide the media outreach,
Yeah.
all those things, right? So, and then Tom's group comes in and says, we wanna host it, but we don't provide any of those things, right? So then this group here is basically gonna be judging that RFP and making a recommendation to council, but now you're asking for additional input from, or you're saying it's too much for this group, it should be the council that actually recommends who the. It's kind of lost there.
No, yeah, and I'm sorry for losing it, but that's. I guess where these city signature events, I'm trying to understand. If. So the only arrangement that's made for city signature events is through the RFP process, and I think that's the part that I believe I would recommend to be reviewed and looked at differently, just because. If no one, say for Sunshine Days, if no one applies to do it, then is the city going to reach out to another vendor to have them host it, or would they just not have it be done?
So in the RFP, are you asking, should the city have a basic definition of a scope of what's gonna be covered for these signature events, right?
Yeah,
Okay, now I'm starting to kind of grasp it a little bit here, so.
What would
but
help?
again, I'm making it very convoluted, so
What would
sorry.
help, I guess, it's just an idea, would it help where council says, okay. This organization, you have a 5-year contract or
Yes, yeah, that would help,
Cinco de Mayo, but you still have to submit.
yes, an RFP, yes.
Yeah, and then this organization, you have a 5-year contract for light and implement parade, and you still have to submit the RFP.
Yes, because yes,
That would.
And the RFP has a basic definition of the scope of what you're gonna provide.
Yeah. and then the contract would also have a scope of what is expected for a city
Right.
signature event.
So, correct me if I'm.
But I will work to figure out what we're doing with the market separately.
And this is a highly unusual set of
Yeah.
circumstances. Normally, you come in and you say, I'm gonna do the whole event.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do the whole event. And what you had was you coming in and saying, we wanna do the whole event. And you had farmers coming in and saying, we just wanna do the parade.
Mhm.
And it's weird because you can't do the event without farmers.
Mhm.
And I don't know if there was gonna be acrimony if they
Yeah.
were given the permission to do the parade, but, yeah, small town.
Mhm.
But if I remember correctly, I thought we asked if it was. I thought we asked Rotary if they were willing to just do the marking.
Not one this decision. I mean, I could review what we said in those meetings, but. No, I think the intent was Mike was gonna come back and we were gonna talk through it.
Okay.
That's the part that. I was still working on into June.
Well, I guess, let's get a meeting going and.
Yeah, cause now we're getting close to planning period, so.
Yeah. Just whatever I can do to help, and, say a meeting or with Jim or whatever, just let us know.
This was the scope of work that was proposed with the agreement, so I can send it to everybody for review.
Yeah, we could email it, Jackie.
Okay, I'll send it right now.
Well,
And
she sends.
this is where, so Rotary hasn't countersigned this agreement, cause we had some feedback on this. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We'll get together, figure it out.
Okay. Well,
Your signature is conspicuously absent.
let's move on. I know it's already an hour and 10 minutes and we want to keep it an hour and 30. Right. Let's move on to the next one. Next item is the 2026 lodging tax fund request for proposal, budget process, provide direction. So you guys have in front of you the proposed timeline, which is the important one. Jackie has it here, public notice advertisement, Sunnyside Sun, September 3rd to the 17th. Notice published on the city website, September 3rd through October 3rd. RFP package available for pickup, September 3rd to October 3rd. And RFP responses due October 3rd at 4 p.m. Are those dates okay with everyone?
Well, I'm concerned with the overlap, because you've got October 3rd. You're available to pick up and then do at the same time, so doing the same day, October 3rd and 4th. So
That's a quick turnaround.
maybe we should, at least give them a couple days to put something together. October 1st.
Jackie, can you change that?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, September 3rd for RFP available pickup, September 3rd to October 1st.
Make sure it's not a Saturday.
Yes, I can change that.
October 1st to the Wednesday.
The Wednesday, okay. So then they'll be due October 3rd by 4 p.m. And
It's
hopefully,
just saying that we'll have copies of those available up front for anybody. But I'll change it to October 1st.
Like hard copies to pick up if you needed to fill it out. Same. So theoretically, someone could come and pick up a hard copy on October 3rd at 10 a.m. and have filled out and returned at 4 p.m.
Right, I just think it's pretty short.
hopefully nobody waits out.
Well, what's the quality of the applicant? Somebody's gonna, hey, I can rent that Kansas City, $10,000, like, show up at noon and drop this thing off at 4.
Are we required as a city to have it available through the whole duration of the application period?
Well, I mean, whatever the advertisement says, right? Whatever the advertisement
Whatever
says.
we put up.
Yeah, whatever we put out. So the other item that's highlighted here, funds will not be extended by not extended by December 31st, 2026 will be forfeited. All reimbursement requests must be received within 30 days of completion of project. No exceptions. So was this 30 or 60?
Yeah, so I would highly recommend 60 days. It is challenging working with different vendors to ensure you have major payment and received your invoice or received your receipt for that payment and turn it all around in 30 days. And then additionally, this year I learned and I should have looked closer, but for lighting from implement parade, having it all turned in by December 31st, you have less than 30 days. And so that is very challenging for that signature event. And I understand and maybe this is something Monica, your finance lady might be able to assist with, because I recognize that they're trying to close out probably the end of the year, but that's that's a tight turnaround.
Yeah, I
Well-
think they have like 20 days to close out the
And then
year in January.
Now you'll have two groups submitting reporting documentation for light department grid, so it'll be.
What you can do, Sierra, is the group can start sending in invoices as they receive them. I know that advertising is done maybe hopefully a few months before, and maybe those invoices can be submitted as they come into to Rotary.
Yeah, my understanding was it was all had to be reconciled and submitted at the end, but I can review the agreements language. For that,
Yeah, let's review the language and see if that's
because
allowed.
if that's, yeah, that could be a possibility.
So yeah, Jackie, if you could change that 30 days to 60 days, I know in a few other places it says 60 days.
Cause sorry, to go back to your point though, advertisement, for example, if it's extending all the way through to the last day of the event, technically you haven't had completed what you're being reimbursed for. Even if you paid for it in advance, the work has not been done yet, so again, I don't know, that might be a technicality.
That could be. And besides that, I don't see any other changes. Anybody have anything to add?
The things that I guess are important to me is, I have a project budget here, which I would like to see. Also, there is a tech marketing. I guess all I'd like to see is if they say they're going to use the funds to do sales and marketing, I'd like to see where they're going to use them. If they're using them to buy ads in the Sunnyside Daily Sun, that's not going to reach people outside of our area. And I saw a lot of that in the email that was submitted for reimbursement. If they're using it for local radio stations, that's not generating a lot of activity out of the area. I'd like to see that reach be beyond the 50 miles.
Gotcha.
Well, and I don't recall, was in the past, when I first joined Rotary a few years ago, and I wasn't in the details nearly this much, but I thought there had been something with this process before that maybe said you had to show that you marketed it outward. Was that language still somewhere or was that removed? I don't know if you recall.
It's not in here per se. I didn't see where it says we'd like to see that any sales effort or marketing effort is outside of 50 miles. You're more likely to obtain an overnight guest that way.
Yeah, I remember a past president just speaking on how we had to get information.
So it's right here.
This book came out.
In Cinco de Mayo, first one I came to the scope of work marketing. Negotiate advertising with local and regional media. Interact with press, television, media, social media, local markets, others. Advertise, so maybe we just need to strengthen that.
Well, so I'm trying to what is this part of the packet?
This is an example.
This is an
Yeah.
example?
Right.
Okay. Cause I was curious what this,
Well, no, these are the 3 signature events, right?
yeah, and so
Jackie, how's it, excuse me, not to interrupt you.
No.
How does this work? So this was put together. This is gonna go out to the select groups for the RFP.
That packet just gets published online. It does go out to people that have applied in the past so that they're aware that there's an opportunity, but it does just get published online and printed up front.
And this is just the 3 signature events.
It's for the general, which is that packet, and then there's just those exhibits attached to it for the signature events.
Oh, so these are just examples and these are,
no, I mean, these are they're not examples, these are actually what,
That's what will get published.
So it's also solicitation if you wanna.
Yeah.
For the single mile or.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which I think that's where we go back to that conversation with
Mhm.
the Cinco de Mayo, is we did have a year with two different organizations that are for it, right? But I mean, that's something definitely, I could look into to see if, the city could do that, offer like a 5-year contract.
Well, and then again, I think go back to that point, do we wanna strengthen that marketing statement?
Maybe here on the application with parentheses, something that says outside.
Or a breakdown of local and regional advertisers.
Jackie,
Split that
can
line.
you split that line, I guess, on the expenses? It's line 15 to where they could put down how much you're gonna spend on local advertisement and how much they're gonna spend on, I guess, outside of 50 miles.
so, and if that is able to be done, this is the projected fund, budget. Do we, when we reimburse though, do we look at what is submitted in the forms for reimbursement? And what is the process, Jackie, if you were to take this projected funding, say they're gonna spend all their money in regional advertisement, but then they submit their receipts for reimbursement and that's all local, is then the city going to say, no, you budgeted for X amount on this line item, so that's all you can be reimbursed for?
Yeah, hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Restricted funds.
Yeah, is that something we do now?
Well, and I think.
We can do that if that's the direction moving forward.
But we don't do it currently. We
No,
just-
we just take, if it's advertising or something that is of operations for their event, then we reimburse it. But we do ask for a copy of any advertisements that get published.
And the project funding budget, I hate to say it this way, it gives us the opportunity to cherry pick. We'll fund that, we will not fund that. So you figure out how to fund that, but we will not. But, and then the invoices that we receive need to be cross-referenced to make sure that.
And then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier too, is, when you're. Do we get a chance to comment back? Hey, you've got in $1,000 for local advertising, but you've only got in, $250 for regional. No, we want you to
Switch that.
switch those, right? Because we're trying to reach a broader market.
So another of the concerns that you guys remember, earlier this year that, Mike had wanted the organizations to pay for security, but myself along with council didn't think it was fair to put it on you guys at the last minute. And we were gonna have a conversation about next year. So is that something that we wanna put on there as well?
So I know.
Yeah, like the
police
scope of work.
has commented on Sunshine Day. Because they don't have a budget for security.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be overtime for the police force.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a conversation for here or a conversation for council. On top of this.
Well, it'd be good for them to know that, hey, next year you're gonna be in charge of paying security, cause that way, plan around that. So I don't know how to go forward with this. Any suggestions, Tom?
Well, if you put that in there as a specific line item, and I would put it in there as a specific line item. There needs to be some guidelines. If it's a 1-day event, X dollars, if it's a 2-day event, certain dollars, put it in there.
Mhm.
You are responsible for providing security for your event. It's a part of the cost of creating the event. That way you take the burden off the city. And it's clear up front.
Jackie, can you add then a line item for security?
And then I think in the scope of works for the signature events, because since I feel that these city signature events are just a little difficult, because in the past they've been so blended because they are something that the city obviously wants to happen, and so there's been lots of partnerships and So I believe having in the scope of work that the organizing group will coordinate and pay for the cost of security in that scope of work would be important.
So she's added it, can you put in I mean, do we have a figure? $200 a day, $500, I mean. No, if we can put a figure in there so that when somebody's doing a 1-day event, they know how much to put in.
But I think it depends on the scale of your event, because Miss Sunnyside applying for an RFP might not have any security at all versus
The signature events, so what we're talking about.
it's almost like the signature events, the city should be able to tell us exactly how much it costs upfront in here. You could easily say it will cost X amount of dollars for the coverage, because Mike had a number for Cinco, I think.
Jim, can you get that for our next meeting?
The number?
The number, how much for the signature events?
Yeah, the number that I think Rob talked about was somewhere $30,000
For Cinco?
for Sunshine Day.
For Sunshine?
Yeah. So, I think it's gonna be a huge barrier to
Wow,
smaller
I don't want, yeah,
organizations putting these on. I think it'll just then revert to the city will just have to take these signature events and do them. I mean, I don't know, that's I'm not saying Rotary won't still apply and try to make that work, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess my question is, I know the police, the PD has budgeted 500,000 for overtime each year. Is that taking into consideration these events? Because that overtime comes out of that.
Theoretically, it should, because, they should be looking at their past work hours for the past year and determining what their overtime is, and that overtime is based upon all those events the same year that past year, so.
So I guess if there's a way to split that, okay,
Quantify it better.
100,000 is of this is gonna be for these events.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
I'll mention to the chief and maybe we can do a report to council on Monday night.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, well, you have 4 minutes. Do you guys wanna go to 5 or do we wanna stop at 4:30?
I'm here, not the easiest person to get here, so. you-
Might as well. All right, well, let's continue. The next item is new event funding. So if you guys remember, we allocated $10,000 for anybody that wants to come to the city with a new event. That can potentially, bring in food competition, anything that with agricultural, the industries around here, we have hops, we have dairies, we have so much industry around us, something that kind of focuses on that. I don't remember if we did it just for ag and industry events, or because if you think about it, we've never had say like what we've had for a sports tournament, right? The 3-on-3. But like any other sporting events, anybody that wants to come on, definitely an idea for an event. So tournament of some sort. I know Foster just had a soccer tournament last month, and they had like over 60 some teams, and they kind of coordinated with the farmers market they have out there. So it's pretty packed. I'd like to see something like that come to Sunnyside. Maybe attract teams from other cities, like you said, have some sort of award.
Is it possible, Sunnyside has a rich heritage in wrestling.
That's it.
Is it possible to do something in the off season, not an indoor sport, but if you had a tournament, maybe in January, I don't know, I guess wrestling championships take place in the middle of February.
Mhm.
But if you had a tournament early enough in the new year that it brought talent out of the area, and the people who are here say, I want to wrestle up, I want to make sure that when I get to the state, or somebody really good in it, I've already had a chance to.
The Mac Classic.
That was that was a good tournament, and that was in Yakima, and I can't remember who organized it, but they let that go. It was kind of a shame, but you could recreate it here. I think you have the facilities. Yeah, I don't know how many mats you put on the floor over at the high school, but you have the middle school as well that you can use. You just need referees, you need PR.
Well, and you need someone to do it.
Somebody do
You
it.
need a
Well, that's where
group,
you need a
yeah,
champion.
you need you need a group to run it.
Typically,
it.
it's
The high school, oh, let's reach out to them and see.
or maybe there's somebody who, maybe their kids are involved in was it little guy wrestling? Because that brings in people too. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, those guys, they get out there and they wrestle.
We also have a group in town that does boxing. I mean, something with boxing.
So I think though, for this new event funding request, do we have to create some sort of process around promoting what it is and how we're going to allocate those funds, or? So then we can like try to encourage people to generate ideas.
I guess, Jackie, if you could hear me, how quickly can Yes Wasco get?
Well, that's
get
what I
on
was
something like
thinking,
this?
yeah, I mean, just put something out that says, hey, you know, Sunnyside's looking for events,
Mhm.
right? You know, whether it be a you know, barbecue pit master or, you know,
Submit your own
fire food festival or wrestling match or basketball tournament or softball tournaments, or whatever it happens to be, submit your application.
And put it out there. I mean,
Yeah.
the person putting the event doesn't have to live in Sunnyside. The event just has to happen in Sunnyside.
Right,
so.
right. You know, up to $10,000 or grant.
So Jackie, I guess I don't know if you or Jim, whoever can contact Yes Wasco and see what the possibility of that.
Yeah, I'm meeting with her tomorrow and I can mention it to her so she can start planning, and then hopefully by next Wednesday she'll have a plan together or something. But I think that's a great idea.
All right, anything further on this item? We're done. Let's go to items from committee members. Start with Tom.
So we have talked about in the past trying to put together a strategic plan, a vision and a plan for Sunnyside tourism. And it seems to never quite get started. So I put it out there again. There should be community stakeholders involved, but it's something that would help us to get out of first gear. I know, I'll just try it out as an example. In Uni Gap, we flouted for a number of years. We had what do you call it, a facilitator. And this individual came back with a recommendation that we focus on the Central Washington Agricultural Museum, which is something that doesn't exist anywhere else. And we put a ton into that, but it's beginning to show you need to pay dividends. And Sunnyside has a lot of attributes that the other communities don't have. We just figure out how to focus on those and create, and it starts as an event-based economy, but do it properly, it becomes fully integrated.
Right.
And you need the time to do it. You need to call people together and say, this is what's gonna happen. In the past, I suggested it to city council. I said, the lodging tax committee, do it. I was basically slapped down. That's not your job. Somebody else is doing it.
Right.
So, and this was a number of years ago. And I have, I guess, consistently asked, and I'm going to continue to consistently ask because I think we do it.
So what would that look like? Maybe invite someone from each of these groups to like
This is a strategic planning session to put together a vision for tourism in Sunnyside. And it has all these different aspects, athletic, culinary, academic. You figure it out, and you put it out there and you say, come and give us your feedback. You might not be doing anything, but giving us feedback. It's a brainstorming session, but you have somebody who's good at facilitating those to keep us more or less on track. Then at the end of the session, that person goes back, they put together a report of their findings, and they bring it back either to this committee or to the city council. And here's where we think you should go. Now, here's your starting point. And you can start pushing on that.
well, we have 100,000, right? That we allocated to the city. Maybe, I don't want to keep throwing stuff at Yes Wasco, but they could be some sort of facilitator or less Tom, some somebody that can facilitate something like that.
You want somebody who is,
I think you don't, I don't know if Yes Wasco's for like what they do,
Yeah.
but I think you typically would want a
typically a
facilitator,
college
yeah.
professor, somebody who's capable of dealing.
There's
with
lots of different, I mean, we can provide you resources too, we've used at the hospital before too, or, but there's like professional facilitators out there for strategic.
Okay, well, let's see what here's the cost is and see if it's falls within the budget, cause yeah, I mean, it's something that you mentioned and we need to, we need to do something.
I will make myself available to be a part of that, and I will encourage other people. You say you want Sunnyside to be a certain way, show up,
Yeah.
speak up.
Yes, I agree. Sarah, anything from you?
No, I don't think I have anything that I'm already sure.
And I don't.
Just thanks for rescheduling.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I'll think of that.
Thank you guys for being here and be part of Altech. Definitely need 2 more people in here, but we'll do it. We'll do it like this as long as we can. Items from staff. Anything you would like to add? Establish next date. So I think it's been established, right? We need, what is that? What's the date, Jackie, that we're going to meet for reviewing?
It's up to your availability. Sometime I would assume after October 3rd, when they're due.
So I guess from experience, it may be, Jackie, you could start getting a hold of us that following Monday, October 6th, to see how our schedule's like. We could plan something either from the 6th to the 15th.
Believe it or not, I actually have.
Yeah, I would say that it would actually work better for me to put it in earlier, because then I can protect that time and not schedule things around versus as each week approaches, it gets more filled.
So
I know that the week of October 6th is a no-go because Best Western has its convention. And I know from October 22nd through the 30th, I am in Nicaragua, so I'm out of the country.
So we should try to do it the week of the 13th.
Yeah, that'd be a good week.
okay, available Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So the 14th, 16th, or 17th.
Let's do it this Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Like you could, that was morning or afternoon,
it's fine.
you don't like Tuesday?
I could do it Tuesday. The only concern I have with Tuesday is I often end up on my horse out of town in Clarkston or Colfax, and usually I can come back, go out Tuesday, come back on Wednesday.
So we could do Thursday.
But if you want to do Tuesday, I can turn things around. My whole that month is just.
What, and then the time, what do we want to do? I know we're probably gonna have the applicants available to answer questions and whatnot. Most of them probably work. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember we were here for a while.
It was a long time.
Pizza.
So do we want to start it at 3 or 4?
I think if you start at 4, you give people who are working a better opportunity to show up.
Okay. 4 p.m. Thursday.
Tuesday or Thursday?
Which day would
Thursday is fine.
Thursday's
I think we're starting at 4. I was hoping, day.
Yeah.
But you're right, the people, you're reminding me, people,
And
this is the session where everyone comes and
It's an emotionally charged.
represents. And so I guess that process, I'm just curious, so we have them come so we can ask them questions about their proposal? Is that the intent behind it? Okay.
Yeah.
Cause we say in here that they can only provide 2 supplemental pages of information, right? So, cause I think it would be beneficial if we give a time limit maybe to each group. Is that something that's been done in the past?
Yeah,
but yeah, been trying. And
somebody needs to be, you're good.
Yeah, you're gonna keep us on track.
Well,
We
hopefully
can have like a clock that like a
you're on the
timer.
clock, right?
Yeah.
Jackie, if you could set it up at the chambers, it'll probably be a lot better to do it there.
Yeah.
I know last time
It's a
we
more
had,
comfortable room anyway.
well, last time we had the people waiting in the basement and they had to alternate, so if we could do it at the chambers, a lot better.
That's what he was saying, but it's.
Okay, so I have October 16th at 4 p.m.
Until,
Yeah.
What's the address of it?
What's the address of Law and Justice, Jackie?
something.
What was that?
Address of the Law and Justice Center?
401 Homer Street.
401 Homer, yeah.
Okay.
And then my other question is the committee's direction that if I receive a application that is incomplete, do you want me just to pull it or still present it to you?
We need to get a hold of them and make sure they have a complete application, ready for.
Burn, like if it's not complete, I don't think it should, and this is just my position, if it's not complete, it shouldn't be reviewed.
Right.
And so if the deadline is October 3rd and they submit it September 10th, like we can keep getting a hold of them to try to get them to complete it, but if then October 3rd goes around and it's not complete. I don't,
That's it.
Yep.
but I'm very good at black and white sometimes, so.
Well,
If
if
you
you
guys-
guys, the door opens, it's gonna always be open.
Yeah.
And also, we encourage the applicants to be there at our meeting to answer the questions.
If they want to, yeah.
I know we had questions with last year's the basketball and just couldn't get them, not even on the phone, I believe.
Well, we reopened it last year. Cause we opened it and then,
We
like
did.
from implement parade and the basketball tournaments, no one submitted anything. Cause, again, this is probably too much history, but because, you know, LTAC has had a goal of weaning people off the utilization of the funds, but then people in the community believe that no one's doing like from implement parade because there's no submission. And so we reopened it trying to get that basketball guy too, to
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
resubmit, and so that's why we met at Thanksgiving time.
Mhm.
I don't know. if
Yeah.
you guys remember that, and so we,
That.
that we then waited a little longer.
Well, it was two important ones that they didn't
Yeah.
get submission, so
Yeah.
it was Sunshine Days and the farm.
Oh, yeah, and
Parade
Sunshine
that
Days.
didn't get a submission, so we had to reopen it. Give it some time.
Don't do it on the day.
Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving was not a good idea.
All right, well, anybody out there watching this video later on today, just get a hold of Jackie if you wish to apply for LTAC funds, and if you have any questions, also she's available for those questions. And if there's nothing further, I adjourn this meeting at 4:41 p.m. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Ben?